Let everybody get up in here. How's everyone's hump day? Hope you guys are doing well. All right. And I believe we are live. If you guys can see me, hear me, give me a little shout. Let me know that you are there. What's up? What's up, guys? All right. I'm refreshing the stream here. Make sure we're good with YouTube. And we can get into it in just a moment. All right, cool. We're loud and clear on Instagram, loud and clear on Facebook. You guys give me a shout. And I will check in on our YouTube stream. Let everyone get up in here. And we will be going in just a few minutes, all right? Not even a few minutes, a few seconds. Okay. And I just want to make sure I can see the chat box so I can start getting to your questions. Andre, what's up, homie? Good to see you, man. Glad you are here. I look younger. Thanks. All right, cool. Welcome, everybody. Nice to have you back. I am so happy you guys are here. Just being here put you above the average. Like I said, I know we're going to lose some people. It's just the nature of the beast. So I'm glad that you all are here. Happy hump day. Good to see you all. One thing I want to mention, guys, please take some notes. You know, I've started doing the same. Pen and paper, a statistic that I find very, very true. We do forget probably about 80% of the things that we hear. And some of these things you might not use for another, month or a couple weeks. So it's always good to have these things to come back to. Leon, what's up, my man? All right, Douglas, hey, good to see you too. So hopefully you guys all have pen and paper. If you're doing your taking notes, give me a little shout, give me a little thumbs up. That'd be dope. Really quickly, who on this stream looked up that Transurfing audiobook that I told you about yesterday? As I said, for my students, that's going to become a mandatory reading in our program. But I just didn't put it in the curriculum yet, but I will. So if you guys weren't here with me yesterday, I recommended this book, Reality Transurfing. If you go to YouTube, you can find the first, this is 5 volumes, you can find the first 2 for free in a very well narrated audiobook. It's amazing. By far, of the hundreds and hundreds of books I've read, the #1 book in my life. All right, nice. Some people did. That's awesome. Run into dead ends on Craigslist. I'll get to that question in just a second. I got a couple that a lot of people sent me. I'm going to hit those first as we get people coming into the stream. And then I'll answer that one. I like that question. All right, so if you guys hit up Transurfing, definitely do that. That's another quality that I really want to enforce, is speed of implementation. You guys have heard me talk about it before. As it pertains to wholesaling, there's 2 ways we look at it. Number 1, how fast after hearing something, so in this case, I recommend that you go check out this book, do you actually do it? These are the people who are doing deals the fastest. These are the people who are seeing the most success, right? So your speed of implementation, you learn something, you just take action on it. So that's the first part. The second part, as a wholesaler, speed of implementation, or speed rather, how fast after does a motivated seller hit your website, do you call them back? How soon after you get a deal coming in do you, hit up your buyers, stuff like that. How this speed, I'm telling you, will throw you so far above your competition. I can't tell you how many times wholesalers, when we're doing JV deals or something like that, take multiple days to get back to me. And while some people fear competition, or the seller got X amount of yellow letters, most people are not hitting them up consistently. They're not following up. They're not hitting them back immediately. So that's just another way that you can really blast past the competition. So mention that. Guys, I got a lot of questions yesterday about the mentoring. Yes, I have the mentoring program. I just want to make a couple points, right? So as I told you before, I typically take new students in my application only. I think actually it's still on application on my very public site, my Investment Mike site. But my other website, or stuff where you guys have interacted with me in some way, shape, or form, be it on live stream, or maybe you bought one of my PDFs or something like that, it's now open. So we're in open enrollment, right? Now, you can go in and sign up for the program, but the same way I put my program with a guarantee, if I'm not a right fit for you, and I'm not a good fit for everybody, some people find my style a little bit too direct. It comes from a place of love, but I'm not for everybody. Likewise, not everybody's for me. So I'm just making it clear, I very much reserve the right to give you your money back and kick you out of the program. And I'm just putting that out there because there's certain people I just don't deal with. I don't do negativity. Anybody who's going to be negative and, not try. I want you asking a lot of questions. I want you hitting me up. I want you engaged. But any type of negativity, man, it's just not going to happen. It's going to be not a good relationship there. So I'm just kind of putting that out there. I really want action takers. You'll see, even when you first get started, there's an expectation. You're not going to come in and put in little work and be this amazing wholesaler. I ask you in the beginning, you're expected to make sacrifices. If you work 5 days a week, I want you working 6, 7. If you work 40 hours a week, I want you bump it to 8. I ask that we go through a period of no TV, no radio, stuff like that. And of course, nobody wants to live like that for the long term. That is not what I'm advocating. I am not, as I say, I have periods where I'm a workaholic, but I'm not that guy overall. But I do expect that initially for you to make the short-term sacrifices for the long-term haul. So if you are interested in that still, you can go and check out the program. Everything is detailed there. It's www.wholesalingwithmike.info. You'll see everything. What is included in the program. It's very comprehensive. All the materials are there. I've got tools there. And then obviously you get direct access to me. One thing I learned even from when I was in Grant Cardone's program, the old school way was to under promise and over deliver. And something Grant taught me is to over promise and then still over deliver. And that's exactly what I want to do. So even stuff that's on that page, when I say everything is in there, training module, contracts, all my ebooks, all that stuff, that's there. But if you show the initiative, I'm gonna go above and beyond. If you don't do anything, it's not too much I can do for you. But with that said, I want to give a shout out to my man Lorenzo. I see you, brother. I got your email. Welcome to the program. You joined today, and so I'm going to do something special for you and for anybody who signs up before Friday, because the way I like to do this, guys, is essentially have classes of people. So instead of having people drip in at different times, I'd like everyone to come in on one time. So when we do private mentoring classes, everybody's more or less on the same level. And then at some point in the program, everybody has to link up with an accountability partner. So it'd be dope if everybody's on the same page. So for everyone that joins, today's Wednesday, before Friday evening, I will do a one-on-one coaching call with you, similar to this, but it'll just be one-on-one. Lorenzo, I got you. I'll be emailing you for details on that as well to get you on board and get you started and also caught up to speed with students who are already in the program. So that's a little housekeeping thing I got out of the way. And let's just start jumping into some questions. So I'm going to start with a couple questions I got via email where a lot of people basically ask the same question. So, and then I'll get to all you guys live, all right? So the first one I have here is, do you tell the seller that you are a wholesaler? Remember, guys, everything I say, there's exceptions to every rule, but in general, no, I do not recommend you do that, especially if you're dealing with, let's say, a realtor or MLS listed property or something like that. The only reason someone is asking you that question is to screen you to see, are you going to plant a seed of doubt in their mind, right? That you might not close on the property. Now, you should be doing your due diligence and your homework and make sure you make, smart offers, do your best, but don't give someone a reason to not do the deal with you. And to be blunt, the fact is, it's none of their business. If you're going to sell your car, you're not asking, hey, where are you driving after this, right? If you're assigning the contract, the deal is closing. They're getting paid what they agreed to sell you, and that's all they need to worry about. If you're doing a double closing, then you are actually borrowing funds in the form of transactional funding. You're paying for it. You will own the property for 5 minutes, technically. Whether you resell it, 5 minutes after or 5 years after, none of their business, right? So you do not tell people that you're going to be flipping the property. That's your business. It has nothing to do with them. And then if some of you maybe even feel uncomfortable with that, the truth is, you might want to hold on to. If you got an amazing deal, even if you think you don't have money in the bank or anything, if you got an amazing deal, someone would fund it for you. You would find a hard money lender to fund it for your private lender. You could call me, say, Mike, this house worth $500,000. I got it for $200,000. I want to keep it. I will find you the money. We will find you the money. So again, don't limit yourself. Don't put yourself in a box. And again, that's not being dishonest. A great deal of my buyers, who are my cash buyers, use hard money. They use private money when they're purchasing my properties. That's Rich Dad 101, using OPM, other people's money, to buy real estate, to buy assets. So that's completely cool. I would not mention what you were doing with the property afterwards. That's none of anybody's business. When you go buy a stock, are you going to sell it afterwards? You're going to hold it 50 years. Nobody's business. So you don't need to feel guilty. You don't need to feel like you're duping anybody or anything like that. You're not. All right. On the flip side of that, I also have people ask me, well, when I'm selling it, do I tell people that I'm a wholesaler? Absolutely. I always do, and I advocate doing so. And here's why. I'm not going to tell someone I'm the owner of the property because I'm not. I'm not going to be dishonest with somebody straightforward. But there's also no benefit in doing that. Also, there are a couple of contingencies and things I want buyers to know. Number one, I want people to know I'm a wholesaler, right? I don't want to just do one deal with these buyers. I want them to know I am the guy to come to get real estate deals. I want you to come to me. I'm that dude, right? I also want you to tell all your friends when you get a property from me, hey, I know this guy Mike. He gets the best deals in Palm Beach. You got to hit him up. You got to give him a phone call, right? That's word of mouth networking. Still very, even in the days of social media, it's still very, very valuable. So I want people to know me. Also, I want people to know that there's a contingency to my contract. So if I'm doing a double closing, A to B is me and the seller, B to C is me and the end buyer. Sometimes, that end buyer is going to have to put up a deposit. But within their contract, I put in the addendum or additional comments, buyer is aware, end buyer, so that's C, is aware that me selling this contract to them is contingent on my ability to close on the A to B side. Meaning, if something happens and my contract goes wrong on the A to B, that person B to C cannot come at me and sue me or anything like that. They could be a little bit frustrated. It does happen from time to time, but they can't come at me for any type of failure to perform because they know that. They know a wholesaler. They know the role. And then also just cultivates a great relationship. We build rapport. We talk, stuff like that. I can get them what they need. So I do always tell buyers that I'm a wholesaler. All right. Next question is from Stripe. Are you on here? I forgot if you were on Insta or where I saw you. 15K assignment fee. Congratulations first of all, but should I double close? You don't have to. If the contract's assignable, you can. Me personally, unless you have a long list of, let's say, backup buyers who know and will take it, I always recommend that you do a double close for anything above $10,000. The fact of the matter is, a lot of end buyers say, hey, I don't care what you make on the deal, so long as I, make a certain amount. Some people are like that, especially if you have some rapport built with someone. Maybe they purchased from you several times before in the past. But a lot of guys, man, they might say, hey, I'm putting up all this money. I'm doing the work. I'm only going to make 30 and you're going to make 15. No. And then they'll go back and try to negotiate down, or if they know your spread is that high, they will. It's just not worth it. You can really not disclose your profit and what are closing costs? People think they're a lot higher than they are. Really, most of the time, most of these houses, if they're like, let's say $150,000, you're going to pay like $2,000 in closing costs. And I know people who have had, larger spreads, 20,000 or something like that, get talked down to 10,000, 8,000 because they didn't have a good backup, and this usually happens at the last minute when they don't have time, and that buyer just threatens to walk if they don't have skin in the game or something like that. Or, in the case of assignments or whatever, but it can be the same thing. But basically, if they know how much you're making, they can walk or they can negotiate you down, whereas you could just pay the $2,000 for the double close and just rest easy knowing exactly what you're making. So, yeah, my general rule is any profit over $10,000, I am going to double close instead of an assignment. So we got a couple other questions here. I'm going to jump into some of the live stuff. There was one I saw earlier I said I was going to touch on, and I forgot what it was. Okay, running into dead ends on Craigslist. Way too many wholesalers. Leon, bro, here's what I'm going to tell you about that. I don't use Craigslist for finding motivated seller leads. I know there were a lot of programs, especially out in like 2008, that advocated that, and they're still available now. I think that's kind of a overly saturated way of doing deals. I'm sure you could find some, but I don't think it's maximizing the best use of your time in the sense, Pareto's principle, 80-20 rule, right? But it's not necessarily a bad thing that you're seeing other wholesalers. It's giving you some a view into the market. You should be signing up on their list, but you should be hitting them up, man. Don't look at these people as competition. Look at them as partners, because there's not a limit to how many deals you can do. If they have inventory, you should be finding buyers. It's like a lot of people, you pay all this money direct mail for inventory. You could look at it as, hey, this is inventory and an opportunity for a partnership. It's just another way to do deals, and you should be hitting them up. There was another question I got real quick. I think it might have been Michelle. I think so. And you were asking about, doing deals basically with other wholesalers. And it's like, all right, check this out. Her question is a little bit different, but it's like if you find a deal with another wholesaler, a lot of times those are easy to identify because they'll say things like cash or hard money only, no inspection period. And again, if you're not going to try to kind of dupe another wholesaler, right, and tell them you're a cash buyer, kind of what I advocated a minute ago. But you're not, when you're dealing direct with the seller, but you're not going to do that to another wholesaler, but strictly because they're going to, any smart wholesaler is going to give you a, make you put up a deposit before the contract is valid. It's going to be a non-refundable deposit, and you're going to have a 0-day inspection period. So in those cases, what you want to be doing is you can still work with those people, but you want to be signing a JV agreement, joint venture contract. Again, if you guys don't have a copy, there's one on my website, www.wholesalingwithmike.com. Just click on the, it's like in the middle, it says free downloads and resources. Just click it there, you'll get a contract, and it'll show you how to fill it out. Very, very useful. And that's how we'll go about that. See other wholesalers as having either inventory or buyers, and you should just be doing more and more deals. If they already have the inventory, if they have it under contract, they're not taking it from you. They already got it. So take advantage, make relationships, form relationships. On that note, something for you guys to write down, because I know you're taking notes. How many of you are telling people that what you do, right? Even if you're not a wholesaler, even if you're not fully committed, which I do recommend you fully commit, you know, when you're ready to do this. But let's say you maybe not quite there yet. Everyone you know, think of everybody that you deal with on a regular basis, be it customers or anything like that. You should be telling them, hey, I went to this great real estate seminar. You can tell them you got a source for private money or not. It's your choice. But you tell them, you know, I'm looking to buy houses. You know, just tell everyone, I'm looking to buy a house. Hey, do you think you can help me? Hey, do you know anyone selling? People should start to get to know you as Mike is looking for a house to buy. He's going to buy it cash. And then, again, put it in their best interest. Hey, if you know of anything, let me know. I could, you know, break you in and, you know, cut you off a little piece of something. You can phrase it however you want to. But you need to start letting people know. I let people know, random people. When I go get a coffee in the morning, the lady at the Starbucks knows that I buy houses. She knows that. And we smile and talk a little brief things. Hey, you got any houses from me yet? You know, everyone should know that. So that's something else I would write down, guys, especially in the days of social media. Everybody should know what you do. You should start talking about it and telling. Sometimes you're going to get that reputation. Earlier today, actually, was it 7 something? About 4 o'clock today, something like that. A guy that buys houses from me pretty regularly hits me up, and he tells me, hey, I want this property, because down here, a lot of people tend to circulate the same inventory, and you don't necessarily know who has the actual contract. I don't really do that. You know, I put out deals that I have exclusively, or like my students, but a lot of people do it. And I make exceptions sometimes if I know I have buyers for very specific things. But he just hit me up because he knows that I can get things and I have relationships or whatever. So anyway, I go into my email because I follow every other wholesaler in South Florida, and I look through, and sure enough, probably about 8 wholesalers, you know, circulating the same deal. And because I have a feed on the market, and I know, I was able to tell like who had the contract, and I hit him up. I explained, you know, I talked to him, the guy knew who I was, and basically, just because people know me and know what I do, I now, without any effort, any marketing, anything, I get a deal 2 hours ago, and I'm going to be a 50-50 partner on it, and I'm going to get paid. So it's just another thing. People should know what you do. All right, so YouTube, what's up, what's up? Let's see, we got some questions on here. Finding ARV is easy, but finding the price an investor will pay for it is a little bit harder. I find easy and hard very, very subjective terms, man. I mean, I would agree with you as finding ARV is easy, but, you know, the price an investor will pay, I say you got to put it to the marketplace. The marketplace will tell you what they're willing to pay. If I put out a property at $100,000, you know, people tell me, hey, man, I'll pay, you know, 90 for it. Then I know. Or I'll have someone say, I'll pay 100. Another person say, I'll pay. I say, another person made me an offer. I say, I got offers. I'll pay 110. I'll pay 115. It's like pretty easy. So what I'd say is, if that's an issue for you, it's not that it's harder, it's that your buyer's list is not big enough. So you need to start hitting up more buyers. We talked about that on like day 1 or 2. So obviously I got my cashbuyersdirect.com website. You get a free sample on there, and you get the PDF that shows you, you know, how to work that market. It shows you how to do some market research. That's one way of finding buyers. You don't have to. I do direct mail every single Friday. I break it up by zip code, and I send direct mail that way. You should be networking with other wholesalers. You guys are really overlooking that, man. That's a great source for deals and partnerships. And it's also just fun, man. When Kevin from Independence Title has his annual client appreciation, and he takes us out, we go on a boat, you know, and we kick it. I get to network with all these people, and a lot of them I get to do business with, and it's fun, man. We get to hang out. It's nice getting to meet other people, not only to do business with, but because, I don't know, it's nice to get to know other people, right? So definitely network with other wholesalers, because again, when you call, let's say that one person that one landlord. Like I said, go to gosection8.com. You hit up one landlord. That's great. You can make a very, that buyer could be worth a lot to you. But again, one phone call gives you access to one buyer. You hit up another wholesaler. Not every wholesaler want to work with you, and that's fine. But you hit up one wholesaler, and you might tap into their network. I got over 10,000 buyers on my list. Somebody brings me a deal, and it's a legit deal. Yo, you got access to 10,000 of my people. So, I would say that's the problem here is really just you need to get more investors. Vernon, what's up, man? Hey, I'm going to call you a little bit later, actually. Can you tell them you're an investor? On what side? I talked about this a little earlier. You might have missed the beginning. Watch it later, but just a quick recap. Can you tell them you're an investor? If you're on the buying side, you're buying from a seller, you can say, yeah, I'm an investor. You don't tell them you're a wholesaler or flip it. Sometimes they'll dig deep, and you can just say, look, I don't know what I'm doing with it yet. I might hold it for a while. I might, put a tenant in there. I might sell it. I might sell it tomorrow. I might sell it whenever. But you don't use the word wholesale. Don't talk about flipping or signing. Some people don't even know what that is, and it might kind of rub them the wrong way or whatever. But then if you are selling, then yeah, I would absolutely tell them you're an investor. Yo, Stephanie's on the call. Everybody bow down. Stephanie is my contact from Independence Title, the friendliest, best title company in Florida. Shout out. Mike, how about showing your buyers an owner-occupied property you have under contract? Okay, so here's the thing. Viewing can be an issue. There are times where I've had deals under contract that were great, but because I couldn't get access, I wasn't able to show the property, right? So I kind of lost those deals. Now, when you have vacant properties, particularly things that are vacant and on lockbox, those are inevitably going to be easier to sell because you just send everybody into them, right? There have been times where, this is going to be on camera. All right, so there have been vacant, bank-owned properties that didn't have a lockbox, and I went, or someone I know went to, and just tested the windows and saw if any of them were open, and they happened to be. And of course, this is illegal. This is breaking and entering. But some people, have different. Again, I'm not saying all the time, but some people will do things like that to get into the house, open up the back door, and then just call all the investors. Hey, the back door is gonna be open for a day. Go in. It's a little taboo, right? But I'm just saying it happens. Likewise, hey, some of these buyers are very competitive too. I've sent buyers to properties on lot boxes. If a buyer wants a property, they might go there, take the key, and then take the key out the box and leave with it. So no one else could do it. So that can happen. But back to your question, without getting too sidetracked, if it's an owner-occupied property, you're not going to get as many opportunities to send a lot of buyers in there. So what I do is when people call me, I screen them very, very fucking hard. So I ask invasive questions. I ask personal questions. I ask them all the things I wouldn't want to hear as a wholesaler. Like, what are they doing with the property? So this is a time where I'm going against my advice on the flip side. But I ask them what they're doing with them. I ask them how they're paying for it, if they're using hard money. I ask them how many properties they've purchased, what they're going to do with it. And I really screen them to make sure they're serious, because you don't want to send a tire kicker in there. You don't want to send, if you only have 1 or 2 shots to send someone to the property, you don't want to be sending a tire kicker or another wholesaler in there, because again, you can't just send a lot of people. Some other options, if it's something, let's say under contract on an MLS listed property where there's a realtor, ideally you don't want the realtor there. So you want to try to go around them, circumvent the realtor. So basically you might ask them something like, hey, I'm going to be in the area next week, but I'm not exactly sure when. Could I just stop by and ring the bell? Or can you give me the tenant's phone number? I just want to make sure it's okay with them. It'll be after hours. But try not to be specific, because a lot of them are going to want to show up. And that's something that you don't want. You ideally don't. If it happens, there are times it's happened. So don't get me wrong. There's times if I don't have another option, I'll have a buyer meet the realtor. But, there are times that it could blow up in your face, or they could, say what you're doing. And you can still save your deal. I'm just saying it's not really the ideal way to do it. So again, you want to screen, make sure, and then let them know, hey, if I give you this property, this is what I know about it. Give them as much details as you can. It needs this. So understand it's probably going to need about, and then they can determine, let's say, 20K of work. I usually try not to put a number on. I say a new kitchen and a new roof or something like that. And then you want to say the contract is going to be 0-day inspection, and I need this amount of earnest money deposit down. Are you okay with those terms? And if they say yes, then you can get them in there. There are times also where you could try to do it kind of open house style. Again, you're not acting as a realtor or broker. That would be illegal. but you could possibly try to send 2 people at the same time. That can also create some competition. And then the other thing you could do, let's say you send 1 person and it doesn't work out. Well, then you could either call the listing agent, call the tenant, whoever you have to. Again, it's not ideal, but sometimes you just got to try so you don't lose the deal. And you can say stuff like, hey, my other partner got to see it, or hey, our hard money guy needs to see it, or hey, my GC. You could say things like that. And then also your buyer needs to understand. It's another reason why you tell them, your wholesaler, the dynamic, right? And then there are times, there's shady buyers out there, there's sharks out there. They will try to screw you. I get a question on that same path. I don't remember exactly what it was, but somebody said to me, oh yeah, mobile to mansion, what are some things you put in your contract to safeguard yourself? This is on a related topic, so let me pull this up for you right now. But basically that can happen. So the point is, you're going to try to minimize it, but you can't always do that. One thing, especially now with social media and these small RIA groups, if someone tries to screw me, hey, it could happen, but just don't do business with that person again. And make sure everybody knows. My homie Rich, shout out to Rich, he's another wholesaler down here, sent an email not too long ago, and it was like to all of us wholesalers, and it was like, hey, just so you know, XYZ buyer, and if I knew the name, I would definitely shout it out right now. I just don't remember. But it was like, definitely knew that I was a wholesaler, tried to go around me. Don't do deals with this person anymore. He's shady. Boom, just like that. So, I don't want people like that in my circle anyway. If you need to do that, like, that's cool. I'd rather know who you are from the jump. But to answer mobile to mansions question, CJ, so this is in my PDF, guys. Ironclad contract clauses. You can get that on my website again, wholesalingwithmike.com. These are 35 clauses you can put into your contracts to protect yourself, whether you're from the buying end, from the selling end, assigning, and also some different specific situations in there, like short sales, for example. So here's one clause I put in my contracts when I am selling, so B2C. And I give you the exact verbiage and I say the purpose of it. So buyer's representative or representatives, buyer's lenders, lawyers, inspectors, buyer's insurance agents, buyer's title companies, buyer's affiliates, associates, employees, or trustees are to have no contact with the listing agent, current owner, or current tenants. If contact occurs during inspection or any time, the statement given is that you are inspecting on behalf of, and I have you insert your name or your company. Any other statements, insinuations, negotiations, disclosures, questions, or side agreements are strictly prohibited and considered a breach of contract. So that is very clear. The expectations are clear as to what you're doing. I recommend you guys, you can watch the replay, or you should be taking your notes, put that in there, or better yet, support your favorite wholesaler and go get this PDF. I put some good stuff in there. But anyway, the point there is, you put that in there because you're trying your best to mitigate your risk. But the question alone, how do you safeguard yourself, is some of you are letting shit like this stop you completely from going forward because you're like, well, I don't know what would happen if. First of all, that's very rare. It does happen, but it's rarer than you would think. But to me, that's like someone who, a big entrepreneur, maybe you have a great retail store you want to open. It's a great concept, whatever, it'll do well. And you say, hey, I'm not going to open this store because someone might steal. You just understand it's part of it. Should be built into your blueprint, your business plan, that shit could happen, right? So you do your best. You hire some security. You put up the detectors or whatever. You put your cameras up, and you try your best. But at the end of the day, someone can still steal from you, but that doesn't deter you from your goal, your focus. You might get ripped off from time to time, but by worrying too much about all this other shit, like you stunting your own progress and growth. So let's just be focused on the goal and not everything that could go wrong. Yes, you have to do your education and stuff like that, but everything that could go right. So again, I do believe in having that base education and foundation. That's part of the way my mentoring program is created. But I would not spend more than about 2 weeks learning that stuff to the best of your ability. And then after that, enough to kind of protect yourself from the big shit that could blow up in your face, like suing and ways you could lose money in your inspection periods and the contingencies that are fucking key. But after that, man, you got to just start taking action. If some bad shit happens, you will email me and I'll walk you through those kind of obstacles. But you can't just not take action because you're in that paralysis mode, man. That'll really fuck you up. All right. Mr. Ho, the content is liquid gold. Thank you so much. And thank you for smashing that thumbs up. I really appreciate that, man. You guys are awesome. All right. So do I and making a lot of offers on listed properties. That's the only way to do it. You have to. And not only just making a lot of offers. Yes, you want to make, offers got to be smart in the ballpark, but they don't have to be perfect. Some of you trying to get it way too perfect, but the only way you're going to do it is in volume. And not only volume of the offers, but also the follow-up. The follow-up. I won't harp on this too much, but it's worth repeating every time you guys see me on camera, because dear God, no matter how many times I say it, people just don't follow up. Jen, thank you for reaching out via email several times. I did get your question. And what it boils down to, I know you wrote me a long thing, but it's basically like you guys bid on 3 properties and you were beat. And then you were like, I want to know the fastest way to get properties. It's like, bro, you can't put in three offers. Like, come on, man. You got to put in probably hundreds of offers. Again, part of that goes back to making sure you're in a market with demand. If you're in South Florida, you can make hundreds and hundreds of offers. We got millions of properties here, and there's demand, high demand. Some people, they get beat out and they get discouraged. They're like, there's too much competition. There's no deals. There's no deals because there's too much competition. That's one way to look at it. It's the same situation. The glass is half full, glass empty. So that's one way to look at it. But that's saying the glass is half empty. The way that I look at it is, look, there's so much fucking competition. People are actually overpaying for properties. So yeah, if I offer a 70% of ARV, I'm not going to get it. But because people are paying so much and overpaying and there's international demand, I know that I can offer 80%. I can get 85% and still get it accepted. And there are people, because there's no inventory or because there are no deals, there are buyers who will buy. It's not like the competitions or demand or whatever just stops for wholesalers. Right? It goes up the chain, so everything moves up. This is scales of economy, man. This is basic economics. But back to Jan. So again, when I was living in South Dakota, when one house was like a mile away from the other house, okay, that strategy doesn't work. So either get up and move, right? Like, people look at, when I tell people move, they look at me like I'm crazy. It's like, dude, move. It's like not that big a deal. And the other thing, you might want to virtual wholesale. Maybe link up with another wholesaler or someone who wants to get into the business or whatever. But, do the, man, G is on the call, man. I got to go. This guy's terrible. More on that later. But the point here is that, and actually, he sent me a property, not in my area, but I will look at that for you, brother, and I'll get back to you because it does look like a deal. But I got to look at it in more detail. Sorry, all over the place. You just got to make more offers. You have to, and you have to keep going, and volume is what's going to win this game, particularly when there is competition. You just got to be the one, attrition, like stick out there the longest, right? So basically, your dilemma is pretty easy. You just got to keep making more and more offers, and you might have to start making higher offers. Remember what I said before. Get the contract accepted, get control, and then you can you can scale it back if you need to. All right, so cool. Let's go. Cool, man. I get a lot of love on here, man. Thank you guys so much, and I hope that as meaningful as this to me, it is as much to you. Can you wholesale bank-owned properties? Absolutely. It's one of the best source of deals. Some people are like, oh, those are not great deals because maybe back in the day, like 08 or something, even before I started, you could grab foreclosures at 40 and 50%. Banks got smarter. Banks are holding shadow inventory, stuff like that. So those deals, maybe not at those percentages, might not exist anymore, but you can still get great deals. There will be certain challenges, and it also depends on the bank. Like I mentioned before, like Bank of America, I've done deals with them, but they're a pain in the ass. Sometimes they have deed restrictions, which, again, it's like, what do you care if I sell the property afterwards? But there are ways around it. If you're in Florida, for example, using a land trust is a great method. Some of these banks, Fannie Mae, for example, want 10% earnest money deposit. So for some of you, that could be problematic. But guys, it's about creative real estate investing. So sometimes you could use the land trust method. Sometimes you could get, I wouldn't recommend a, let's say, hard money loan. That's not really what that's for. But you can go to a hard money lender and say, hey, I'm wholesaling. I don't need it for this amount of time, but could we work out? Or you go to a private lender and get a loan that way. You can have your end buyer buy it and basically say, hey, I can't transfer the deed to you, but we can put it basically in escrow with our title company, the money, whatever, and then, or the deed signed, and then after 90 days, it'll transfer to you. Some buyers will say no. Some buyers will say yes, You just got to shoot your shot, but just keep shooting it. You can't quit. People asking what's the biggest mistake wholesalers make. It's just quitting too early. A lot of you guys quit too early. Yo, Stripe, what up? I answered your question. I don't even remember what it is, but I answered a little bit earlier, so watch it on the replay. But yeah, you can wholesale bank-owned properties. Like I said, some of them will have some other additional obstacles, but there's still a great source of leads, and I would highly, highly recommend you do that. And, just look for some creative options sometimes. And asking 1, 2, 12 something move-in ready. Wish I could keep for myself. Not sure what that means. If you could clarify on that. Amen. Got a deal from just letting my friends. Thank you, Douglas. Let me repeat this for everyone who's watching on Instagram or YouTube, wherever. Douglas said, amen to that. We're talking about a minute ago. Just got another deal from just letting my friends know what I do. Was an old friend from high school. Reached out to me first. Some of you guys think I'm making this shit up, man. I'm not. Just tell people what you're doing. It's really, you know, sometimes you're really, really overcomplicating this thing, all right? Oh, just made 12K. Gotcha. Asking 12K, moving ready. Wish I could keep himself. Okay. All right, so let's see what else we got. Questions. Let me know what you guys got. Let's scroll up here a little bit. Hey, Sunny Hill Financial. We tried it earlier today. What up? Oh, shit. It's Alex, bro. I didn't even know that was you. Hey, what's up, brother? Good to see you, man. Good to see you. All right. Yeah, we'll touch base. I'll shoot you a message. I didn't know that was you. I just saw your the name. Okay. Hey, what's up, man? All right. Sorry, getting sidetracked, but I'm seeing some familiar faces and folks I love. And Alex, we haven't talked in years, but see, when you let people know this man is doing stuff in real estate, and even if we can't do business together, hopefully we can. He's on the West Coast, but if not, would you just send me a message? You got a person, your buddy, I think Victor or something, who might be interested. This is how networking works, guys. And if I could throw this man some business, I'd much rather do business with people that I know and I like, and more than seeing your fancy logo because it looks cool or you have a great copywriter. I want to know that I have friends from college, or friends of my friends, or brother of my friends. I would much rather refer you my business than someone who's got a cool looking webpage, right? And a lot of people think about you guys the same way too, especially, I mean, granted, you got to be an honest, good person, but I'm assuming that I'm attracting these kind of cool people into my life and circle. So if you're on here, you're going to get, you know, by default here, you're getting some props. So check out my man Alex, Sunny Hill Financial on Instagram. He's doing lending in Florida, which I didn't know, so now I know. That's awesome. And in California, and he's a mortgage broker with 75 plus lenders, and that's a connection right there. And I love this man, so I can say with a degree, I know his brother's family, where he comes from, that he's going to be doing good business for you guys without even having gotten a loan from myself. I can go ahead and make that recommendation confidently. So let's go look at some of these other emails, right? But good to hear from you. Good to see you, brother. All right. Jan, we hit. Who else we got? This is kind of a repeat. Michelle, we got. And guys, keep the questions coming. I'm going to go back through all of the different streams and check them out. But some of these were universally applicable, so I will keep hitting on these. Renee's got one. Renee asked some awesome questions. Gave me great feedback on the feed from yesterday. I got your email. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. All right, so Renee's finding a lot of FSBOs on the MLS pending. She's sending contracts. Should she send them a yellow letter to make it more personable, or is this more work? Personally, I would not send a yellow letter. The point, see, some of you guys send out direct mail and think that the point of the direct mail is to get the deal. That's not. The point of direct mail is to get them to call you or visit your website, right? So it's kind of like a cover letter and a resume. Now, granted, it's been a while since I did that, and I don't have a resume, and I never will. But the point here is, the point of the cover letter is not to get you the job. It's to get them to read your resume. The point of the resume is not to get you a job. It's to get you an interview. Then during the interview, you try to sell yourself. So the point of the yellow letter is not to get you the deal. It's just to get them to call you. Now, FSBO, if it's listed online, you should have their phone number, and you should get their email. So you're going to call them. Just call them. That's what the letter is. Otherwise, you're just giving yourself not only more work, but additional expenses. So you want to call them. But the thing is, one call is not good. Remember, you want to be catching people at the right time. So maybe if you call them, they might have just listed the property, might not be ready. So you got to follow up. You got to be organized. Put it in your calendar. Use an auto, you can set your messages to send a week later automatically, so you could kind of set it and forget it. Same with email. Do that and just follow up with them, because you never know. At that time, they might not be ready to sell, but maybe like a week or two later, or a month later, or after contracts go in pending and then fall out, they might get frustrated. They might lose a job. They might be military and have to, move or leave. Things happen. And the chance that you're going to catch them on the right, perfect time, it happens, but it's highly unlikely. So you want to just keep hitting these people up. And also, that's another way of networking. Maybe they sell the house, but it so happens that her cousin Carol now needs a house to sell, and they might be interested, you know, and then you can drive through people's networks, and eventually you'll find someone where it's not like you're taking advantage, but they need to sell, and it's got to be a win-win. You guys can't make people take low offers and stuff like that. It's got to be a win-win. They need to sell fast, and you let them know, hey, I'm an investor. I've got to make a profit on this thing, so if we can come to a point where we can both be happy, we're good to go, right? Oh, this is a good question. Hey, Florida real estate hero, my man, I said I'm going to give this guy a shout out because we chatted earlier and I forgot the specific comment. But shout out, man. I appreciate your engagement. I'll get to your question in just a second. I got a couple going on here. So, yeah, hopefully that answers Renee's question. All right, before this goes by, when you make a bid on the MLS, how does the realtor play into the deal? This goes to, this is cool because some of the live questions are going with the email questions that I kind of forgot about. Okay, so basically when you make a bid on the MLS, you do not want to be bringing in another realtor into the deal, meaning a buyer's agent. You want to work directly with the listing agent. I got a blog post on the website at Wholesaling Mike in more detail, but let me just say it like this. All right, so the listing agent, that's the person that puts the, puts the deal on the MLS. Here in Florida, it's 6% commission, right? So agents have this fiduciary responsibility where they're supposed to, let's say if it's their listing this on behalf of a seller, they got to look out for the seller's best interest, right? Meaning they got to present all offers, of course, and, show them the highest and stuff. But the way people actually act and the way they're supposed to act is oftentimes different. Sometimes it's very sharp and cutthroat, and sometimes it's not even malicious, but it just happens that way. So let me tell you, most people, when they make offers, bring a buyer's agent. So that's the person who'll get in their car and go show you houses. It's how typical people buy houses in retail, right? And so when the buyer's agent comes in with the listing agent, they now have to split that commission. So when you go straight to the real estate agent, it makes 6%. So the example on my blog has some numbers with this, right? So let's say a property, you make an offer for $100,000, and that means it's direct to the listing agent. And they're going to collect a 6% commission. So that's going to be $6,000 for them. Now, let's say Joe Smo comes in and he makes a $120,000 offer. That's $20,000 more. But he brings a buyer's agent. So now that 6% commission is $7,200. But now they have to split that in half. So they're making, like, what, $3,600 as opposed to $6,000, right? So what are they going to take? Now, granted, some realtors are going to be, good people. If they're, working with a seller, they'll present the 120 because they're supposed to do that. But let's say they're working for a bank, right? They're not going to try to push that offer. They don't care if the bank makes an extra 20 grand, right? Or there's other things where they'll try to push your offer through and hurry it in. They might not check off every single thing on the list just to get your offer through. Whereas the 120 person, they might say, whoa, let me see your proof of funds. And let me, let's say you send a proof of funds that's 32 days. They might say, nope, got to be within 30 days. You got to go back, stuff like that. And so they will really fight, some more conscious than others, to push your offer and get your offer. And then you sell yourself even more, that you close fast, you close quickly, and let them know you want to do repeat business. Now, also, the reason this goes into somebody's email, which I have somewhere, it might be Juan, if you're on a call, but basically you're an agent. You're talking about having to disclose. So if you are an agent, right, you do have to disclose. But what I recommend, because probably the amount of spread that you're going to be making is going to be a lot more than the percentage you would make from commission. And we want to be turning agents into bird dogs, not because we're using them, because we're making it win-win. If a lot of these agents are selling to a family buys what, 1 or 2, maybe 3 houses in a lifetime, and you're coming to them and say, hey, I just need a little bit of a break. If you can kind of help me get the deals, I'll buy from you twice a month. That's a win-win. You're using them as a bird dog, but you're not using them because it's a win-win situation. So if you are licensed, I recommend you disclose to the agent, hey, I am a licensed realtor. However, I'm an investor. I'm buying this as an investment property. I only have my license so I can have access to the MLS, and I do not plan on taking a commission. I'd like you to represent both sides of the transaction, and you can collect the full commission. So for all you guys that are licensed out there, I recommend you do it that way, because then you're helping them out. You're appealing to their best interest. They're going to be that bird dog for you. They're going to hook you up. You're complying with your disclosures as far as your real estate licensing goes, but you're going to do a lot more deals that way. Cool? All right. And yes, we were talking about transurfing. Thank you, sir. Also, if you're doing deals in Florida, yes, I highly recommend ReaFax. That's the CRM that I use. Previously, I had used FreedomSoft. I was very pleased with that system, but I just find for Florida only, ReaFax has a lot more. It does not have the websites, but I think you'd be better off. You can use, if you want cookie cutter sites, you can use something like Investor Carrot where you just set it up instantly. There's more costs associated there. It starts off at like $100 a month, but I recommend, hey, it take you a little bit longer, but just go get a WordPress site and then, you know, buy a URL for $15 and then pay the hosting fee for $5 or whatever. It might take you a little bit longer to set up, or you can have someone set it up, but you know, that's how I run all my capture pages and stuff. And my websites, not all of them. I use some other stuff. For my blog, I use Kajabi and stuff like that. But it's a whole nother thing. But ReaFax, man, for Florida is really cool. You can pull direct mail lists that include stuff like absentee owners, and you know, you can look at pre-foreclosures, foreclosure stuff, and most importantly, you can pull the equity. It's not an imperfect system, but you can look at equity there. Also, you have access to the MLX through IDX. And then also with those listing agents, it pulls in the agents' information, their contact information, their emails. So now you can send out bulk offers. It puts you set up the template one time, and then literally you can look at every property in, let's say, you know, Hollywood, Florida, with, you know, a certain amount of equity in it, whatever. Just check them off. It'll pull them in. You press send, your emails pre-written, your contracts are pre-filled out, and then it'll send them all for you. So you can send, you know, we talked about making 3 offers at a time. You can send 30 offers in 2 minutes, and then it also has a really good system for following up. So I highly recommend that system. Also, I have a discount program with them. So if you use my code 4409, you get like $50 off a month, which is pretty dope. But that's what I use personally, and I have a video on my YouTube channel where I show me, you know, over-the-shoulder style recording video using it. So it's something I'm using actively with success, and I do highly recommend for y'all. All right, let's see what else we got going on here. All right, Ace, you wanted to know if I only JV with Florida properties. Yes, I just do Florida properties. All right, and I see we burned someone who's was a little sneaky with you. So yeah, let them know. Let the people know. Angel's licensed and likes that advice. Cool. Very good, man. I'm glad you guys are getting value. And yo, Fern is asking for Chicago wholesalers. This is another way that I would love for you guys to, you know, if I'm not doing business with you directly, I would love for you to use me as the hub. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got my Facebook page, Facebook.com/investingwithmike.com. Connect with people there. You know, you guys are all in the same area learning. Some of you a little bit more experienced than others. So hit each other up. I don't need to be involved, but if I could be the somewhat catalyst to help you guys out and do your own deals, yo, just give me a thumbs up at some point. If you don't, that's cool too, man. I believe in universal, I don't know, good energy and all that good stuff. Do you make more than one offer when working with a seller? Yeah, you can. You know, like you can do lease options and stuff like that if they don't take the first thing. I have done lease options. That's not really my bread and butter, something I go for. So those are things that kind of just landed on my lap. But that's something you could do. How to contact LLC company. I'm not really sure what that means. Oh, how to like skip trace. But if you want to just look up LLCs, like here in Florida, it's all public record, man. You go to sunbiz.org and you can get the information of who owns the company. Why don't you cold call? I do cold call. I love cold calling, man. Cold calling is awesome. What I say is this: like if I'm making offers and stuff like that, number one, and a call, if it's just a call, is an inquiry. So when I give my students a certain number of offers they have to make, you know, in a day, I don't count the calls. I want them to call, but an offer is a written offer on a contract. So that's what you got to do to tally it off as one, right? But what I will say is this. When I call and I'm in contact with somebody, my conversion rate is typically higher. But for the most part, calls take a little bit longer. So when I was talking about like sending contracts on ReaFax, that's for volume. So I try to hit both like increased conversion rates and volume at the same time, right? So what I'll do, because I might not be able to make 30 calls in 5 minutes. So I might look at 30 properties and send out, you know, the 30 offers or 28 first. And then maybe the top 2 I'm most interested in, maybe I know I got a buyer or something like that, I'll call. And then I have other ways of calling too. Like if anytime I pass a for sale by owner sign today, just driving, call them. guys need to be calling all this stuff. This is a game of volume. How many times, all of you asking, how do I get deals? Where are the deals? There are no deals. How many times do you think you passed a for sale by owner sign, maybe even a for rent sign? That's a much lower conversion rate, but hell, you're in a car and you have not called. The other thing with that is there is a process to this that is your education. So, you know, maybe that for rent, that landlord is not going to be an ideal seller, but that could be a great way for you to practice your pitch. You know what I'm saying? I always recommend you guys have a script. I have it for my students. I'm coming out with a program that'll be available. It's going to be with a cost associated for purchase, but it's going to have all my scripts. It's going to have an explanation, you know, the psychology behind it, how it works, and you need to be practicing that stuff, right? You're going to hear certain rebuttals and objections that come up regularly, and you can't be fucking you know, shocked when that happens. You got to be prepared. Oh, okay, cool. Like, for example, a lot of realtors, or you deal with a lot of sellers, what's the first thing they're going to sell you? You're going to say, what's the lowest you take for this property? And what they're going to say is, well, you give me an offer first. And you got to know how to respond. When you ask a listing agent, you know, hey, what other offers do you have? Most of the time, they can't tell you. They're not supposed to. But if you just say, okay, they won't tell you. But then you hit them. Usually, you know, if I just say, okay, but give me a ballpark, probably 80%, maybe not 80%, 70% of them probably crack there. And at least give me a number. You know, just because of I know what to say really quickly. So you got to be practicing these scripts. And maybe you don't want to practice on the first lead you get that seems high. Maybe you want to call some of these for sale by owners, even without the expectation it'll be a deal, which it very well could be, but just to, you know, just to be like, get that practicing. Courtney, what's up, brother? Good to see you, man. I'll be seeing you in October. Very, very much looking forward to seeing you and all the brothers. All right. How to skip trades vacant properties. I have a video on this, talked about it. I do very little skip tracing. A lot of these skip tracing companies, like Spokio and stuff like that, I have not had great results with, you know. Then there's also Find a Seller, which is decent. But my whole thing is this. Look, an analogy you guys have heard me use. There's some people who will work 80 hours a week to make $200,000 a year. And then I give you two options. You can work 80 hours a week and make $200,000 a year. Or you can work 20 hours a week and make $175,000 a year. I'm the 175 guy, man. I don't go into all this. I don't go into all the spending. I don't go crazy unless it's like I have a reason, you know, strong reason. Like I feel very good about a property. I know that I have a buyer for it, and a lot of the signs are there. But other than that, I just move on to the next one, man. There's so many properties down here. Be it, you know, on the MLS, literally hundreds of thousands of properties. The lists that you buy every month: eviction, probate, divorce. I can't even handle it. Like I told you guys yesterday, it's Palm Beach County. There's rich people, there's fine-ass, you know, good-looking dudes, fine-ass women, and these guys are all getting together. There's so many divorces. I can't even handle all of that right now. You know what I'm saying? So I don't go into every single, you know, lead source that I can. I just don't. And I catch a lot of low-hanging fruit, and I'm sure I leave money on the table. There's no doubt about it. But, you know, let's say you go, the time you take to go skip trace, and let's say one person, you're going to spend $10 skip tracing that person. Now, let's blow that up to see how scalable it is, right? So now you're going to skip trace, let's say, 100 people. So you spent $1,000 skip tracing these 100 people. Now, let's say 40 of the numbers you get, 40% is not even, they don't even give you the right number. You can't get in touch with these people. So let's say you get, I don't know, like 60 of them, right? And you like, yes, you know, I got them. You act like you won something. You might call these people, nope, not interested in selling. Nope, not interested in selling. Nope, not interested in selling. You just wasted your time and you wasted your fucking dollars when you could have done something a lot easier. Read a fax like $100 a month, man. You sign up literally 20 minutes a day. You make 30 offers a day. You make a couple phone calls, you know, 10 follow-up calls, and you got a deal. Next thing you know, you got $10,000. Okay, take some of that money, spend it, ball out, have some fun. Pay your taxes with the other portion. Save some, be responsible. Maybe put it in your college fund for your kids. And then take the rest of it and reinvest it back into your business. Doing something that just like a little bit, you know, smarter. Or, you know, that's just my personal take. And not everybody's that way. And if you are that person who's, you know, 80 hours a week for the extra, you know, 25 grand, props to you, man. That's your choice. I'm not in this to tell anybody what to do. I'm in here because I'm an advocate of choice. You know, however you want to live your life. Syndicator, I see you. Appreciate the thumbs up, and I remember your name and whatever that cool your symbol you got. But thank you for being here for multiple days in a row. I appreciate that. That is dope. That is dope. Called anyone from DNC? No, I don't know what that is. Oh, from wait, do not call list, you mean? Is that the question? All right. Dope. I like that. I like that. Damn, this time flies on here. All right, guys. I gotta get out of here in a minute. Let's see. I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh, I'll be here tomorrow, same time, 7 p.m. Somebody did an internet search on me today. People have negative remarks. I don't give a fuck. A lot of people don't like me. I use bad language. I say shit. I have people that work with me that, you know, not everybody needs to like me. I really don't care. I do well. I have a great time. I live a great life. I have students do very well. I have students who come into the program and don't do shit, man. Happens. And I don't beg anybody to be here. If anybody's here and you guys get value, appreciate you. Thank you for the thumbs up and the likes. I appreciate it. I love it. If you don't want to be here, don't be here, man. Go somewhere else. Not a big deal. All right. So for those of you who are here, I really appreciate that. Thank you very much. Also, and if you have comments on that, go check out. I do guest blogging and shit like that sometimes, like Bigger Pockets, for example. I'm on there very rarely, but what I do try to do is give value. If you go look up some of my posts there, you'll see I've gotten into a lot of fights with people there, but I'll let you judge. Go look up some of the posts that I've written and some of the detail I try to go to, and tell me that's bad advice. I don't know, man. But like I said, I really appreciate you guys being here and working stuff out. I try to be as transparent as I can. If you guys check out the YouTube channel, I appreciate it. And I try to show you. I mean, you guys can see the HUD statements. You guys can see you know, the programs I use, and I try to put it all out there so you could like see me doing it in real time. And this is the first time I'm doing live. I've been with you every single day since Friday, and I want to do more. So I'm going to bring you guys in on some of my phone calls. I want to show, I want to put my scripts out there and what I'm learning. I'm far from perfect, imperfect. I've lost deals. I left money on the table. Hey man, it's just me. I'm just living my life and doing my thing, but I really enjoy it. And I really thank everybody who's on here for being on here. So that's what's up, guys. Remember, I recommend you pick up the PDF, Ironclad Contract Clauses. It's on my website, wholesalingwithmike.com. The mentoring program is open. Yo, if it's not for you and it's not for some people, that's cool. I have a 30-day money-back guarantee period, and you don't even have to give me a reason. Some people like, you have to show a certain amount of times you logged in and did all this shit. When I started my mentoring program, I paid my money. That shit was gone. If I never used it again, if I didn't touch it, that money's gone. And most programs are gone. I tell a story. I had a student that came to me, paid $30,000 to one of the big names. And like I mentioned, $30,000, put it on a credit card. That shit was gone. And it was done. Me, there's people who are going to come in. They're going to say, I don't like the way you talk. I don't like the way you speak. I think you're a little bit harsh. I don't like the criticisms. And they could just get out the program, man. That's cool. I'll send you your money right back. We don't have to talk about it or anything like that. So you could come check me out or not. But that's dope. So if you guys are interested, remember it's going to be open enrollment to the end of the week. And if you sign up before Friday, I will meet you personally for a one-on-one call, which will be just like this, except, dude, you can't be sending me ratchet posts in the middle of my stream. But I'll do a one-on-one call with you to get you set up and on board and all that good stuff. So, guys, I'll be here tomorrow. Also, send me your questions in advance. That really helps. It is Mike@wholesalingwithmike.com. I will check those. Also, I've been sending out some Instagram posts, just asking people if they have questions, stuff like that. You can hit me on social media. My IG, Mike Hill TWT. And then, yeah, man, however I can help, I'm here for you guys. I'll be here Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, I love y'all. Thank you for being here. And I'll holler at you tomorrow. Thank you so much for the prayer hands, the thumbs up, the hearts, the likes. I love you guys. Thank you so much. Peace. And peace. All right. See you tomorrow.